Welcome to the Horror Movie Showdown, episode 15. The directors behind today's movie are really big fans of the 80s genre movies. They started out in the late 2000s making short fake trailers for fictive 80s horror and ninja movies. They then later in 2015 released Turbo Kid, which quickly became a cult favorite with its post-apocalyptic feel a la Mad Max, mixed with humor, over-the-top gore, and an excellent electronic soundtrack. What separates these guys from other current directors is that they don't just make movies that are tributes to 80s movies, but instead they make movies that feel like they were made in the 80s. Today's movie is of course Summer of '84. The movie has two quite brilliant posters. The first poster looks like a poster for any generic 80s slasher film, where some object is placed in a pile of blood, but I quite like it. The second poster was definitely inspired by the poster for Fright Night, with its skull ghost over a lit up window. In Fright Night, the main character believed that his neighbor was a vampire, while in this movie a group of kids believe that one of their neighbors is a serial killer. The reference is unquestionable. The movie plays out like many 80s movies do, where a bunch of kids ride around on their cool bicycles. Then they play games, talk dirty, look at dirty magazines, and all that other stuff you do when you're coming of age.
Wait, I thought you were sick of looking at the same chicks.
I am. Why'd you think I stopped banging your mom?
You were so dead.
Yeah.
The main kid even has that classic crush on his hot older babysitter. If you have seen Stranger Things, Fright Night, or Disturbia, you know what this movie is all about. What separates the movie from recent 80s tributes like It and Stranger Things is the pace of the movie, which is much slower. I find the pacing refreshing, as you have the time to get to know the characters and to enjoy the 80s atmosphere without constantly having to be interrupted by unnecessary action scenes and jump scares. In the movie, it is stated that the suburbs are where the craziest shit happens. Well, let's see in the scores if this is true. The serial killer in this movie had a very specific target group for his murders.
Preferred targets appear to be males aged 12 to 16.
Maybe that is why he only made 2 on-screen kills in the entire movie. The movie is quite atmospheric and a little bit scary, especially towards the end, so it gets a scariness score of 6. The movie gets the low nudity score of 3, despite the kids having an unhealthy fascination with topless tribeswomen. And finally, I quite enjoyed the movie and the almost 2-hour trip back to the 80s. The movie does not bring anything new to the genre, but it fits in right among the many other fine 80s movies, so it gets an overall score of 7. So if you're into 80s horror movies, a la Monster Squad, Sleepaway Camp, The Goonies, and if you're into It or Stranger Things, then definitely check this one out. And if you like the movie, you should also check out the jaw-breaking Turbo Kid. And if you are into a bit of spying on your neighbors because you think they are mass murderers, you should also check out Disturbia and both the original and the remake of Fright Night. Well, that's all for this video, and I will catch you in the next one.